Okay. Well, good morning. As Foster said, I'm Dwayne Cabe, and I will be walking through our new AgConnex platform. And I figured before I get into AgConnex specifically, I wanted to give a background of where KSi has kind of come from a cloud data management perspective. And in 2014, 2015, we started work on a cloud platform that we called AgConnex. And that was really built with the purpose of being able to pass, well, it had a few different purposes. But one of them was to allow someone within a company to be able to manage many machines or one machine from the cloud and not have to be physically in front of that machine. And so I actually am showing AgConnex here. And this is where you could go and you can manage customers, seeds, liquids, recipes, orders, as well as run reporting. It also was an avenue, being that it was in the cloud, we were able to take manufactured products, manufactured recipes, manufactured products and records, and sync those down to a given machine or a list of machines. And so that was part of kind of the purpose and kind of scope of what AgConnex was in 2014, 2015. Starting in 2022, the beginning of this year, we kind of sat down and started thinking through what does our cloud platform need to look like, and how do we grow the value that it provides the people on this call. How do we help you make better decisions about your business and about your machines, about your customers, and make that as visible to you as possible. And so we ended up coming up with a kind of a new platform that Foster had mentioned, AgConnex. And so that's kind of just our journey as far as being from a on-prem controls manufacturer to a cloud web application perspective. I'll also mention, Foster had talked about different integrations with your billing software. Really, the AgConnex platform was kind of the stepping stone to be able to do a full integration. And I wanted to kind of mention that these are very, in a lot of ways, they're very tightly coupled. So a lot of what you see on the front end here in this UI is really what we've made accessible through a REST API on the back end, which allows us to integrate your on-prem machines with third-party billing softwares, and part of that allows us to do that in kind of the least intrusive way possible. Being that we're hosted in the cloud, we have connection from the cloud to your machine that allows us to piggyback off of the connection in the cloud to another cloud provider without having to set up specific things on-prem for your computer or your system to be integrated with a third-party system. So it's in a lot of ways the right way to do an integration from our perspective when it comes to machine integrations. So with that, AgConnex platform may be familiar to the people on this call. You maybe never heard of it. That's okay, because we are going to be moving to AgConnex. And I will also kind of just preface this call by saying AgConnex is currently under development. We're continuing to push out features every week and every month. We have a backlog of things we want added, and we want to continue to get feedback from our customers, from everyone on this call on what they like, what they don't like, what they need, what they don't need, those things. So use Foster as a resource. Use our phone support team. Use your sales reps, the people at KSi who from our sales reps, and provide feedback to them because that's helpful in kind of directing our internal dev team on how to prioritize what we're doing. And so there are things that I'm gonna be showing today that aren't released yet. They're in development and they're hoping to go out soon. And there's gonna be other things that are released in a certain state, and we have some new features coming to them. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of preface our conversation today with that. As you can see, the AgConnex is really broken into maybe 3 or 4 different groupings. One being transaction or analytics, being able to see transactions across multiple machines, across certain filter sets, as well as machine management. So being able to actually manage the data on a machine. So if you have a new customer that you want to get down to 1, 2, 3, 5 machines, You can come to AgConnex, create that user will be sent down to the on-prem machine. Same with seeds and treatments, as well as there's a couple pieces around analytics and like reporting and analytics. Reporting and alerts as well, which is not showing on this page, but we can see that. Maybe not. Yeah, down here, reporting and alerting. So I'll kind of cover that. And then really the final one is just around account management. So we want to put AgConnex, the management of AgConnex, into our customers' hands. So you're able to manage who has access to what as employees come and go. You're able to inactivate those users, create new users, kind of across your company, not at a per machine basis. So I'll kind of cover that in detail as we go through this. But first, I want to look at just the transaction summary section. So this is where you're actually going to be able to come in and set a specific date range, right? And you can select one or many machines. In this case, I'm going to select this 15 and 14 machine and apply that. Now, from there, I'm able to continue to scale that report down or kind of filter it down to specific questions I might have about the data. So if I want to know what was delivered for Emma at a specific date range with a specific seed variety, I can do that. And you can see that those orders are going to show up here in kind of down below. I'll also mention that this does aggregate data across multiple machines, and say aggregate. It will display those transaction records based on run date or the fulfillment date of those orders. And so if you look through here, I have two machines selected, and you can see that I have machine 14 here, and I also have machine 15. And it shows me which customers, what crop, what seed variety, as well as what lot and how much was delivered. I'm also able to then drill into an individual transaction and see what treatment product was delivered and what the accuracy of each individual treatment product was. So this is something that can be used by managers and people who are responsible for inventory management, and we can come in here and kind of see those trends. You're able to kind of click through and see, okay, what are our trends look like? You might find that a specific product is always under treating, or a specific product we're over treating, and so we're able to kind of tweak those things as well, so that we're hitting the targeted application percentages. I also mentioned that you're able to download a report from AgConnex. So we're able to download a transaction PDF report as well as email that report. So we'd be able to plug in someone's email and just email that. So if there's a specific question you might have, and there's somebody outside of your company or within your company that you want to look at that specific order, you can trigger that from here. I also mentioned these charts on top. I want to set the date range here to July. What I'm hoping we'll see, here we go, I'm 1 week. So I want to also draw just a little bit of attention to these charts on top. These are showing kind of snapshots of what has been processed on the machine within a specific time frame. So you can see over here, this is the total number of seed units delivered for both of these machines, 2017. Just a little bit bigger. 2018 as well, and this will actually populate as the season progresses. So if you're looking at in May, you're going to see you've treated, you're going to see that scale, as well as be able to see how many orders were treated or how many orders were processed at a given day for a given machine, or you can see that trend over a week-to-week basis. These are again, we have flexibility in what we show here. So we're always looking for feedback on what's actually useful from kind of a dashboard perspective. From here, I kind of like to jump into reporting and alerting. I'm really excited about what this will provide for our customers, and how there'll be ways for them to use this. How there'll be ways for you to use this to bring about efficiencies within your operation, as well as keep you notified of the things that you need to be notified of. And so, jumping into reporting, this is not, again, these are two features that we had not previously had in AgConnex that are being added in AgConnex. These are in development right now. The automated reporting, this is something we're hoping will be released in the next 2 to 3 months. When it gets into the alerting, there's going to be we're probably more looking 3 to 6 months on that. But I do want to kind of show everyone what we're doing here, so you guys know what's in the pipeline, and that we're continuing to pump resources into this platform as well. So with inside of reporting, you're able to select a given machine, and you're able to define how often. Well, in the individual transaction side, this would be you would say every time a transaction is processed on a given machine, I want to notify and basically send a PDF of that transaction to a list of recipients. So it could be billing@ksiedge.com. And they would be able to, they would receive that transaction in their inbox, and they would know that that order was processed for a given customer. We also have transaction summary. This is like a list of orders that processed at either a day end or at a weekend basis. So we would say weekly, define it and say, I want that on Sunday. And so everything from the prior Sunday to this Sunday will be listed in that report, as well as daily. So you could get a daily report, and it would give you a list of all orders that were processed for that given day. In ways that we've seen this used is for getting a day end report. So we had something similar to this in AgConnex, and it was something that you would go into AgConnex and you would download a day end report. I want a report for this specific day. And then they would use that to plug in orders into their QuickBooks software. So they would log in, download that, plug into QuickBooks, and then bill off of that. Here, we're hoping to make that a little easier, where it can just send that report to someone at the end of the day, and they're able to either audit the orders that they put through and make sure they haven't missed anything, or use that to actually put orders through or bills through. We also can do liquid usage reports. So if you want to know how much liquid was delivered for a specific machine or list of machines on a daily or weekly basis, we can do that as well. From there, I want to jump into alerting. And this is, both of these pages, as you can tell, they're kind of dummy. They're more just something that we can kind of look at visually. This isn't how the actual end UI will look. But the idea here is that you're able to define a set of criteria. So if there's a specific chemical that you want to make sure you're always hitting a specific accuracy tolerance, you want to only ever be 1% over, 1% under, or you want to be right at 100%. And if you're off by 100%, if you're off by 0.1% on 3 orders, you want to be alerted of that. That will be something you can configure it at a more granular level. So it would be something like I just mentioned. Anytime this product falls out of 2% tolerance, high or low, for 3 orders in a row, I want an email, and it'll spit out an email. Same goes for seed accuracy. You're able to say, if my scales aren't delivering a specific amount of, if we're falling out of a specific tolerance on the amount of seed we're delivering, I want to be notified of that. Same with API alerts. So that would really come into our integrations. If we have orders that we're pulling from a system or pushing to a system and there's something failing on that, we can also trigger alerts from there as well. Looked like there was a question that came in about a dashboard for machine accuracy. Yes, so yes, there is. And I'll actually just jump back to that right now. Inside of the transaction summary, there is, this is where we were at. There's also a treatment product summary right under that. So from here, you're actually able to see your accuracy, your total accuracy of a machine within a given time frame. So let me see if I can find a better. see if I can find a better example here. So we're going to go to May. I'm not sure. I'll also just kind of preface this by these are demo machines that I have set up. So there is some oddities with the data that are on these machines that we wouldn't see on a production machine. So you're going to see some duplications here. But that's just because of the machines I'm using. But yes, so this would be the dashboard for that. So you're able to come in here, define a date range, define a specific machine. You could even go as far as selecting a specific treatment product and see what your accuracies of that were for a given time range, date range, as well as how many units of seed were delivered for that specific product. Does that answer your question, Chris? Also kind of mentioned that there's the same thing for seed as well. So you're able to come in here and see how much seed was delivered. You can actually see here, this was, these two records are seed on different machines. So if you actually wanted to combine that, and I'm not sure if, the scenarios where you would want to do this, but if you wanted to aggregate that data and say, I want to know how much of this specific wheat seed variety was delivered for both of my machines, you can actually do a combined machine total. Again, there's something goofy with my specific machines data, but this would actually aggregate that and it would show you total units across both sets or across both machines. So Chris asked, can it default to the machines without clicking any buttons? So I believe so. Once you've come in here and defined a machine and apply, that machine will remain selected across machines. So I'm going to jump into talking about machine management. So this is something that I kind of showed in AgConnex where you're actually able to select a machine, you're able to create customers, create products. In order for me to do this, I'm going to jump over to this tab here and show you that when you go to like the customer page, customer machine page, you're able to select the machine that you want to create a customer for. In this case, I'm going to select this 8022 machine, and I can refresh and it will pull in the data from that machine. And from there, I'm able to either update a customer. So I'm able to come in here and actually update that customer. I'm also able to create a new customer. So I can go in and create a customer. And this form and this kind of layout is the same for customer seeds, treatment products. So if we go and look at seeds, for example, pulls in the seeds, we're able to select a seed, make changes to that seed if necessary, as well as actually create a seed. Same goes for treatment products. Select a machine. It pulls in the liquids that are on the machine, and I can create a new one from here.
Hey, Dwayne, just to jump in real quick, while you are on this page, for those that have had AgConnex in the past, AgConnex was used previously for sourcing manufactured liquids and or recipes. So as we move forward with AgConnex, how is that different?
Yeah, so it won't be. The only thing I will mention is that with our V5 platform, we've actually pushed the creation of those manufactured products down to the on-prem machine. So from the on-prem machine yourself, you're actually able to create manufactured products as well as manufactured recipes. So if your specific machine has access to a list of recipes based on, your kind of specific situation and scenario, you're able to add those from the machine. And as those products are updated, your machine products will be updated. And if new products are added, your machine will obviously be added as well. And that's sunk. That data set is sunk using the AgConnex framework. Okay. I want to also mention recipes and orders. This is something that is currently in development. Right now, recipes and orders will be view only starting out, but we have plans of actually being able to come in here, create recipes, send those recipes to one, many, or many machines as well. So that's something I wanted to mention. Same with orders. You're able to come into AgConnex and actually see as well as create those orders. You're able to see those orders here, and we'll be able to create those. The other part of this that I want to mention, or actually kind of demo, is the actual account management side of things. So as I mentioned early on, we want to enable you to be able to set up your own users, to be able to define roles and permissions for those users. And so that's something you can do through your account. Once Foster has set up in a company and set up a super admin, a company super admin, that company super admin, when they log in, they're able to actually create new users. So in the case here, my user has that role. So if I go into users here, I'm able to see the 3 users that have been created, and I can also create a user. So when I go through the process of creating a user, I'm going to define a name, email, and a permission. So in this case, if you just want them to have access to data management, you can select data management. If you only want them to have access to reporting, you can set up reporting. If you want them to have access to really everything except for creating users and managing machines, you can set them up as a default user. You're also able to, within the AgConnex platform, manage or at the very least, see the machines in your specific company. So in my case, I'm going to actually go all machines here. So I actually have 8 machines within my environment or within my company account. And from here, I'm able to see things like what version they're running. I'm able to see when they were last online. I'm able to see if their subscription is active. And if I select one of these, I can actually see when the subscription expiration date is set. So you can see some of that information from here as well. Something else that we have in our pipeline to do, I think will be helpful when it comes to setting up your machines at the beginning of the year, along with being able to actually create individual records for a machine. Actually, jump back over here. Is we are going to have an import, the ability to do an import, and the way that will work is it will be intelligent enough to where you're able to take your customer list and import it in, and it will match up duplicates, or it'll ask you if you have duplicates, if you want those merged together. So it's not something, the first year you import, it's easy. Every year after that, it can be kind of tricky. And so we want to make that job, kind of that task, as easy as possible. And so we want to make sure you are equipped to be able to do those imports without having to kind of reconcile what's already on the machine versus what's on your list of things you need to import. And so that's something else that we have in our pipeline. Trying to think, I don't know if anyone has any other questions. Appreciate the participation here. I guess the one thing Quentin, did you have a question then?
Yeah, so there was a question that came up here about AgConnex being available on the V5 software. So just to clarify that answer, so our Edge partnership as a whole allows 2 things. One is AutoTreat and AutoTreat Plus, as well as the AgConnex software. So they go hand in hand as part of the Edge partnership. So if you want to expand on that a little bit more, you can, Dwayne, but I wanted to answer that question real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are technical requirements. There are things that we've added into V5.1 that make it work with AgConnex. So I will mention that any data that is collected, or any transactional data that was processed on a V4 machine, as soon as that machine is upgraded to V5, all of that data will come into AgConnex, but it won't come into AgConnex until that machine has been upgraded to V5 and has an active subscription. Quentin, the thing that I was going to mention here is around our bulk chemical solution. So one of the things that we wanted to do when we built out AgConnex is to actually encompass the seed treatment, which is what we're talking about today, seed delivery, seed treatment, but we've also incorporated our bulk chemical system into AgConnex as well. So there's actually a toggle if you have access to, a seed treatment and a bulk chemical system, you can actually toggle over to bulk chemical. And now I'm actually going to be looking at orders that were processed on our bulk fertilizer, bulk chemical controls platform. So that's done kind of within the same umbrella as AgConnex. So I just wanted to mention that. If you have any questions around our bulk chemical solution, I'd recommend getting in touch with Quentin, and he'd have more information on that. So that's really all I have, unless there are any other questions. Quentin, Rick, Foster, if there's something I've missed that you think I need to touch on, please let me know. I can do that.
Dwayne, this is one thing that we've kind of covered in some of these others that I might have you emphasize a little bit. A lot of times we look through the lens of how we use something and not necessarily how everyone uses it. So would you mind kind of walking through the difference of how someone in an ag retail location might use it, different users, as well as a pro seed dealer, and how those differences might be and how they interact with AgConnex?
Yeah, no, that's great. Great question, Rick. Appreciate that. I think it kind of comes down to, in some ways, what is important to your operation. So if operational efficiency is something that you would like to, is something you could see being done better, not as much, in some cases there's a process of creating an order, walking that order down to the machine, order is processed on the machine, papers then walk back to the billing department. There is some ways that we could bring about operational efficiency through AgConnex. So in the form of being responsible for billing, this would allow you to either audit the paper trail, make sure that the paper trail is happening, or this could replace the paper trail. As orders are showing up in AgConnex, you can, as soon as this order shows up, we could begin to put a bill through. Or if, and I'd mentioned the reporting side of things, you're able to actually generate those transactions in real time and email them out. That's something that can happen. If it's accuracy that you care about and you want to make sure that your machines are performing the way you need them to for your customers, this would be another way. You could come in here and actually see and kind of make sure the machines are operating like they're supposed to.
Don't mean to interrupt, Dwayne, but
go ahead.
I need to screen share back to AgConnex. I'm sorry if you were pointing out something there.
Oh, yeah, I guess I was just saying that from the.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I should have noticed that. But basically, from the transaction summary page, you can see those as they come through live. We actually have a way to make it to where those will refresh in real time. So that's something you could keep your eye on from a billing perspective. And then from an accuracy perspective, where I showed you from the treatment product summary, if you have that set to today, refresh the page. Every time you refresh the page, you're going to see that kind of that accuracy for that specific day update. So those would be a couple different use cases. I could see people in varying roles might care more or less about them. So.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll get into our Q&A section here. Thanks, Dwayne. But you said if you guys have any questions kind of regarding AgConnex or really anything KSI related, feel free to ask those in the chat or in that Q&A section there. But while we're doing that, I'll go ahead and just kind of update you guys on what the next step is. And that's getting in contact with me. My contact information is listed there below. It'll also be in that email that I had sent in the invite to the meeting. So just get in contact with me and I can get you set up with an AgConnex account and answer any questions that you have there. So that would be where we want to go from there. Yep, thanks Rick for putting that in the chat there, but doesn't look like there's any other questions. Again, if you do have, if any questions come kind of later on, feel free to get in contact with me and I can get those answered for you. But if there's not any other questions at the moment, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Just want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. Thank you for your loyalty and commitment to KSi. Again, I appreciate your time here this morning. You guys have a great rest of your day.